I believe that the Citi Trifecta is the best credit card setup for 99% of people. Every single one of these cards in this trifecta serves a unique and special purpose, and all three of them come together like peanut butter, jelly, and gold.
That's like peanut butter on jelly on gold.
Even though this might be your first time hearing about this trifecta, I'm confident that it's going to be a lot better than other credit card setups like the Chase Trifecta. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about why I think this credit card setup's so good, the possible holes and downsides to running the setup, and at the end of this video, I'm going to be showing you a couple cards that not a lot of people talk about that are going to make this trifecta even better. All right, so there's going to be three cards that make up this trifecta. The first one is going to be called the Citi Custom Cash. This card is going to start by giving you some great upfront value with a $200 sign-up bonus, but where it's really going to shine is the earning categories. It's going to automatically give you 5% back on your top spend category, which includes dining, groceries, gas stations, select travel, transit, drugstores, home improvement stores, gyms and fitness centers, and streaming services. But there's two very important things that you're going to want to know about this card. The first is that you have to be very intentional about what you're using this card for, because you're only going to get 5% back on one spend category, and then everything else you're just going to get 1% back on, so you're only going to want to use this card for one thing. Now this can change from month to month, but just make sure you know what you're going to be using this custom cash for going into the month. The second thing that you need to know is that 5% back is capped at $500 each month, which isn't going to be a problem for most people, but also make sure to explain how that might affect things in a couple minutes. But essentially the way that this card is going to work in the trifecta is just use it for your highest spending category, whether that's going to be groceries, dining, or gas. So after you have this card locked down, you're going to want to get a card that's a little bit more versatile, which is going to be the Citi Double Cash. This gives you a flat 2% back on every single one of your purchase. It gives you 1% when you buy something and then 1% when you pay it off. And because I know that every single one of my subscribers is paying their credit card bills on time and in full, we can count on getting that 2% back. This card also gives you a $200 sign-up bonus, just like the Citi Custom Cash does. So with this card, we're going to be putting all our miscellaneous spend on it. A very, very important thing about these two cards that I just talked about is that while they're marketed as cashback cards, you get all the rewards, including the sign-up bonus, as Citi thank you points. Meaning, when you get this next card that I talk about, the Citi Strata Premier, you're going to be able to take these points and use it for travel, giving you a lot higher value on the rewards that you're earning. Okay, so this last card that you're going to want to get is called the Citi Strata Premier. Before it was just the Citi Strata, and that card was kind of mid, but they just revamped it and it's a lot better now. This card gives you 10 points back on all your car rentals, hotels, and attractions booked through Citi.com. It also gives you 3 points for every dollar spent on air travel, all other hotel purchases, restaurants, supermarkets, gas stations, and EV charging. So that right there is really big because this is one of the few cards that covers all your biggest spending categories. You have gas, supermarkets, restaurants, and all your travel purchases that you're getting rewards on. Now this card does come with a $95 annual fee, but there's two very big things that help offset that. The first thing is going to be a 75,000 point sign-up bonus, which is worth well over $1,000 when you use it for travel. You then receive a $100 statement credit if you spend $500 or more on a single hotel stay. So as long as you're able to book a hotel for 2 or 3 days in a row each year, this card is essentially going to be paying you to hold it. It's also the only card in this trifecta that doesn't have a foreign transaction fee, meaning you can use this card anywhere in the world without getting penalized for it. So just to recap, the way that this trifecta is going to work is that you're going to put your highest spending category on your Citi Custom Cash. You're then going to use your Citi Strata Premier to book all your travel, as well as getting your groceries, dining, and gas covered with it, but most likely one of those three reward categories is going to be covered by the Citi Custom Cash. And then for everything else, you're going to put it on the Citi Double Cash to earn 2% back. Just to make sure everyone understands this, I'm going to run you through what a normal person might spend and then show you which cards you would use. So let's take a person and say that they're spending $1,600 on rent and utilities, $50 on streaming services, $150 in transportation, $325 on food, $200 on dining out, $300 on health insurance, $125 on car insurance, $100 on entertainment, $45 on online subscriptions, $100 on retail and shopping, $45 for personal care, and then $40 for a gym membership. For rent and utilities, you probably wouldn't use a credit card for this because these usually charge fees if you use a credit card, so that would negate any rewards that we're earning. For streaming services, we would put it on the Citi Double Cash to earn 2% back. For the $150 in gas, we would use that for the Citi Strata Premier, earning 3 points per dollar spent. For the $325 on groceries, I would put that on the Citi Custom Cash, earning 5% back because it's our highest spend category. For dining out, I would put that on the Citi Strata Premier. And then health and car insurance, I would put on the Citi Double Cash. as well as entertainment, online subscriptions, retail and shopping, personal care, and then health and fitness. So if we were to go based off that spend, the Citi Double Cash would earn us 1,610 points. The Citi Strata Premier would earn us 1,050 points from putting our gas and dining out expenses on it. And then the Citi Custom Cash would earn us 1,625 points from our groceries. All that would earn us a free 4,285 points, which would be $925 of free travel a year just from spending with this trifecta. And if we add the 115,000 points from the sign-up bonuses, just in year one from holding this trifecta, you would earn $2,995 of free travel. So hopefully that helped you understand how to use the Citi trifecta in everyday life and showed you how many points you could really earn with it. Now I want to go over some reasons why the Citi trifecta sticks out to me a little bit more than the other credit card setups out there. And the first is the downgrade path, as well as the ability to hit sign-up bonuses multiple times. So if you ever decide that you're not in a season where you want to travel anymore and paying that $95 annual fee for the Citi Strata Premier isn't worth it, you can call Citi up and request them to turn the Citi Strata Premier into another Citi Custom Cash. That way you don't have to pay that annual fee anymore, and then also you're left with 2 custom cashes and 1 double cash, giving you a super solid cashback setup from just those 3 cards. The Citi Strata Premier also allows you to hit the sign-up bonus again every 4 years, so if in a couple years you decide that you then want to start traveling again, you can reapply for the Citi Strata Premier and get that huge 75,000 point sign-up bonus again. The next reason that I love this card is because you only have to pay a $95 annual fee to hold it. A lot of other setups you have to pay $395 or even over $1,000 for the American Express setup, and while those setups can be worth it for some people, this one is just so much simpler because only $95 is leaving your bank account and you get $100 right back as long as you're able to use that hotel credit. If you're looking for a trifecta with the most earning categories covered by one lender, this is going to be it. It's a super solid setup where you're going to earn a ton of points. However, if you don't value those Citi points as much as some other lenders, then it's not going to be worth it for you. Really, the only downside to running this trifecta is some people don't like the transfer partners as much. Now, for me, this isn't a big deal. I don't care all that much who I'm flying with or what hotel I'm staying with, and I think Citi has some great transfer partners. Here's a list that you can go ahead and look at. The most popular one out of these is going to be JetBlue, but you also have some other great options for flights and hotels. When you transfer your Citi thank you points out to one of these transfer partners, they're usually worth around 1.8 cents, but you can definitely get some redemptions over 2 cents per point without doing too much work. Another potential weakness with this trifecta that you have to keep in mind is that the Citi Custom Cash does have a $500 cap every month. So if you're spending over $500 on something like groceries, you might want to put that on the Citi Strata Premier instead and put your second highest spending category that is under $500 on the Citi Custom Cash. So hopefully by this point you have a pretty good understanding of this trifecta, but I want to show you a couple cards that are going to make it that much better. The first is going to be the US Bank Altitude Connect. Now this card does come with a $200 sign-up bonus and some other decent rewards for gas and travel, but we're not worried about the rewards with this card because it's already covered within our trifecta. What we're really here for is the benefits that come with this card. By just having it, you get TSA PreCheck and free 4 visits to airport lounges. And that plugs the 2 biggest holes in the Citi Strata Premier because with that TSA PreCheck, you can get through the airport lines way quicker and the CSP doesn't come equipped with that, and those 4 free visits are going to be perfect for the casual traveler. These last 2 methods are going to be a little bit more advanced, but they're definitely going to elevate your setup. So the next thing that you can do is actually get another Citi Custom Cash. The way that you do this is you open up another Citi card called the Rewards Plus, or you take your Citi Double Cash and then call Citi and ask them to do a product change from one of those cards to the Citi Custom Cash. That way you're left with 2 Citi Custom Cashes, and then right after you do that product change, you can reopen the double cash so it's back in your trifecta. And you can do this as many times as you want, so you can end up with 3 or 4 or 5 custom caches if you really want to. Now this definitely isn't necessary, but you're definitely going to be able to squeeze out some more points if you're running 2 or 3 custom caches. Alright, so after you have your full trifecta plus a couple custom caches, you can then get the Rewards Plus card. And it does give you 2 points on gas and restaurants, but we're not even going to care about those rewards because we're going to have higher earning categories from the Citi Strata Premier and Custom Cash within our trifecta. After we have this card, we're just going to leave it in our desk drawer. We're never going to touch it again. Even though it's sitting in our drawer and we're never using it, just by holding this card, you get an extra 10% boost on the points you're redeeming, up to 100,000 points a year. It even counts for transferring your points out to transfer partners too. So just a quick recap of these additional cards you can get to make it more understandable is you can get the US Bank Altitude Connect for lounge access and TSA PreCheck. You can downgrade your Double Cash or Rewards Plus to custom caches so you have multiple of them. And you can open up the Rewards Plus card, never touch it again, and get a 10% boost on all your reward redemptions. The Citi Trifecta is super strong with just those 3 cards, so you definitely don't have to add these additional cards. But if you do want to inject some steroids into your setup, then there's definitely some great options here. If you want to learn more about that Altitude Connect and how to get approved for it, make sure you click this video here where I go into a lot more detail about it. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on the Citi Trifecta, and how do you think it compares to the Chase Trifecta and the Capital One Duo.